Hey sis, have you noticed yourself starting to pull away from people and you're not sure why? Like you don't feel like talking that much, you don't have the same energy to engage, and sometimes you just want to be by yourself. Like you, part of you might be thinking like, why am I like this? Why am I distancing myself? So that's what I want to talk to you about today, sis. And because it's not always like what people think it is. They may think one way, but it's not really necessarily that. And it's not always that like you don't care or anything like that. It's not that you just want to be alone. Sometimes you're just overwhelmed, like emotionally, physically, internally. Like, and when this happens, your system starts like to protect you. And psychology does show that, like, when we feel emotionally like overloaded, it's like we naturally begin to like withdraw, not as rejection, but like regulation. And your mind and body are trying to reduce the stimulation, is what's happening. And it's trying to create some space, trying to process like what all you've been carrying. So it's not pulling away, but it kind of looks like pulling away to everyone else because it looks like you're withdrawing. And what's happening basically, sis, is that your nervous system is saying, I need a moment. I need you to pause. I need a moment. And so if you don't understand all that and you don't catch it, you start telling yourself and judging yourself and telling yourself that, hey, I need to do better. Or, I need to get back to like who I was, or I need to show up, or I'm not doing good. And the people around you may not understand like what even the heck is going on, and then they think you just like don't want to be bothered. hmm and then what happens then is it can start to create like tension inside your relationships, like your, yes, intimately, family, whatever, relationships at work, whatever. Because for like from their side of it and how they're looking at it, they're thinking, oh, you've changed, you're not the same person. But then from your perspective, it's like you're just trying to manage how you feel. You're just trying to regulate. And if you continue this without like any awareness at all, then you start to go in that cycle. And on my video, I talked about those emotional cycles that you could go into. This is what that can lead to. It can create a cycle. And then when you feel like overwhelmed, so you pull away, then you feel disconnected, and that creates even more emotional weight. So the goal is not to force yourself to always be on, okay, in motion all the time, on. The goal is not to be like that. And it's not to force yourself to do that. It is also not to like, you shouldn't completely isolate yourself either, because in my opinion, like that's the devil's playground. Like when you're by yourself, you don't have your support group, your community, your friends, your family, your church friends, or whoever is your support group. That's when your mind really can start like just twirling and twirling and twirling, and then you start having all kind of negative thoughts about yourself and about situations that no, may not even be the case. But because you're so down and feeling so overwhelmed and things like that, and you're by yourself, you don't have anybody to bounce anything off of, then that's how it can kind of fester. Yeah. And you need to, it's important that you have people in your life so you can communicate in a healthy way, to say something like, tell yourself, like, I might be a little quiet right now, or tell them, hey, I'm a little quiet right now, but it's not about you. just to be able to get it out. And this is where, something really important starts to come in, because sometimes you don't even need to force yourself to show up the way you used to. You don't need to over explain your space that you need. If you need space or whatever, you don't have to force it. You don't have to over explain it. You don't need to carry the weight of how everyone feels about it. Sometimes you have to let people be who they are in the moment, instead of carrying everybody's burdens and everybody's problems, because that weighs you down. Yep. And you get, sometimes, you isolate yourself because you feel like, dang, it's like I'm tired and I'm doing all this stuff. And it's like I'm being weighted down with all this stuff and I don't see it out. I just need to be by myself. No, don't isolate totally. Still have your, friends or your strong allies, or, whoever you depend on for support. But at the same time, you have to protect your energy from those who are draining you too. And sometimes you just have to put people in their place and let them be them. That you can't let somebody just keep draining you of all your energy to the point where you don't even want to be bothered with anybody, because they didn't, this one person or people then drained you to no end. So if people are gonna have stuff to say when you go and seclude quietly to get your peace back, to get your restore your energy, not secluding to just be by yourself where you don't have any resources or anything like that. But sometimes it is important to get your strength up to, I call it my Husa moments, where I need some peace by myself. Um, and then if people like to drain you or they depend on you for everything and stuff like that, they'll still pull on you even though they know you're tired. And those are the people that you want to be careful of, not let them make you feel guilty for getting your space, trying to get yourself back together. So let them misunderstand you, let them have their opinions, let them respond how they want to respond, because people are going to be people, right? And instead of trying to manage all of that, focus on managing you, your peace, your capacity, meaning how much you can carry, because I'm not going to fill my bucket up with a bunch of junk that's not useful for me, like everybody else's problems, everybody else's opinion of me, everybody else's thought. I'm going to fill it up with things that are useful for me. Okay, my family, my close friends, critiques as far as what that's positive, that's going to help me, conversations that I need to have that's a positive, people that are emotionally intelligent, not somebody who want to argue and debate just to be arguing and drain me. No, no, sis, don't take all that on. So you focus on managing your peace, your capacity, your healing, because trying to control everybody else perceives that already have their own opinion is not going to work out anyway, because they're always going to have something to say. And trying to focus how everybody perceives you while you're already overwhelmed, that's only going to overwhelm you even more. It's going to drain you some more. Just, it's like leeches just sucking all the life out of you. Don't do that, sis. And so that's why it's important to choose a space that doesn't make you distant, but makes you more aware, if that makes sense. That's why I was saying you can have your distance, but don't be so distant to where you don't have a community. But you do need to distance yourself from anything that's like toxic or anything that's draining you and draining your energy. No, ma'am, don't even do it. So you want to give yourself that space, but have a thin line not to disconnect completely. And that's how you know, okay, I've got the balance. That's how you balance it all out. And because healing doesn't mean like you disappear totally from people. I want to reiterate that. No, you said cut everybody off. No, no, no. Keep your faithful few and your people that are your support system. Okay. But it also doesn't mean ignoring how you feel, because that's important. And it means you learn how to care for yourself while staying connected. Learn how to care for yourself while staying connected. I feel like I needed to say that again because this is where faith becomes important, okay? Because sometimes you need to step back from everything, not to disconnect, but to rest and to spend time with God, like to get grounded again, to allow your mind and emotions to settle. Like, so if you've been pulling away, sis, you're not wrong for needing your space. You're not wrong for needing some space, okay? But at the same time, I don't want you to lose your connections, okay? While you're going and trying to find your peace. You can have both. Yes, sis, you can have both. So give yourself some space, give yourself the grace, okay? So if this message helped you, please like and subscribe. Again, I'm as I stated in my other videos, I'm coaching Melinda. I go by Melinda. I'm a nurse, a life coach, and a mentor. And on this channel, we focus on faith, healing, and wellness. All right. And so a lot of times I will go into like what things effects on the body and things like that because I'm a nurse. So I kind of like to break it down so you understand like how certain things affect us physically. Things that may start out um, mentally can then turn into affect us physically. And I kind of sometimes will break that down depending on what the topic of the day is. So I hope this message has helped you. And as always, I'm wishing you peace, love, joy, and happiness. I hope you have a great day.